In some ways, college was more difficult for me because bullying switched from, in high school I was being bullied mostly by men, to being mostly bullied by women in college. And women at that point in my life were some of my closest friends. They were the only people that I could relate to, the only people who I thought could understand me. And having some of them veer into the realm of bullying was very difficult for me to deal with, and I internalized a lot after that. By my junior year of college, I had quite a few female friends, and they all looked to me for advice. They always valued the fact that I would always be their shoulder to cry and that I would always listen. But whenever it came to the point where I needed to, talk about my feelings or express myself in some way, I was immediately invalidated. And there was a conversation once that I had with one of my female friends that was very difficult, because my one female friend met another female friend and they started getting really close, and whenever I hung out with them, they would always try their hardest to ostracize me or leave me or exclude me in some way. And that immediately triggered a lot of the memories that I had in high school, because what was very damaging for me was always feeling as though I was excluded. I'm not gonna mention the person's name, but I'm gonna quote a couple things that my one friend told me over instant messenger. We were having an argument over why they would not include me in the friend group, and she says, "Is the fact that you don't have a vagina." She said, "You are male, regardless of your sexuality, and just simply cannot be treated as though you were one of the girls. Despite common belief, most women do not treat their gay male friends as quote-unquote girlfriend." And then she later said, "Would you rather we treat you as if you had a vagina and bleed once a month? Because in that case, I don't want to talk to you. I have very few girlfriends, and it is because girls are giant bitches, and quite frankly, in the past year that I have known you, you have become more high maintenance than any man that I have ever met, gay or straight." And then later in the conversation, she made a comment starting with, "Well, Mr. Sensitivity," and was just being... Even looking back on this conversation, it still upsets me, because I really didn't express myself that much to them, but the fact that they were willing to use the few instances where I did express myself against me, that destroyed me. And from there on out, I had a very difficult time making friends because I didn't want to. I had no more passion to be friends with anyone. I didn't want to deal with any complication. I just wanted to be by myself. I wanted to be alone. And from there on out, after that conversation, I internalized a lot. I basically told myself that I was worthless, that I wasn't worth anything to anyone, and that I was never going to amount to anything. And a month before this happened, I had an altercation with another one of my female friends where she basically told me that the fact that I wanted to go to school for writing was a complete joke. And me going to college and me going through different changes in my life often caused a lot of turmoil within friendships, because most people thought that I was dedicating more time to school than I was to my friendships, when in all actuality I was trying my hardest to make time for my friends. And after I had my one friend said that, and then after this one altercation that I was just reading, I just didn't want to exist. And there were instances, especially back in 2009, where I seriously contemplated suicide. In a lot of my personal journals, I talk about suicide, or hinting toward it, in almost every entry. And at that point in life, I was also getting counseling for other reasons, and thankfully counseling helped me through that. But the fact of the matter is, I was not only being bullied because I was male, because I was going to college, but I was also being bullied because of my sexual orientation. Just because I'm gay, apparently, doesn't mean that I can relate to women at all. It doesn't mean that I can relate to them on, like, you know, a being attracted to men basis. And I felt completely alone. I think I felt probably more alone that year in college than I did at any other point in my life, even high school. Most people don't realize that when you're bullied for an extended period of time like this, especially high school and into college, that stays with you for a long time. And when a person becomes that used to being bullied, they end up finding ways to fill in the gaps when they're not being bullied by other people, and they do this through self-bullying. And I used to self-bully on a daily basis. For those of you who do not know what self-bullying is where you basically tell yourself that you're not worth anything. You basically tell yourself that you hate you. And you use the same reasonings that all of these other bullies have used against you over the years. And I did that, even into college. I would wake up in the morning, I would just go to class, go eat, go to work, and I would tell myself that I was a horrible person, that I wasn't worth anything, and that I'd never have friends, that I would always be alone. And in doing so, I also pushed a lot of other people away, and that is another negative aspect of self-bullying, because you end up hating yourself so much that you completely build walls around yourself and don't let other people in. In college, the fact that I could not fit into the gay community, the fact that I could not fit into my group of female friends, the fact that I really was the planet Pluto of that solar system almost destroyed me. And, like, I remember having... I would wake up late at night and I would go for walks on campus, and I would sit there and hope that, you know, someone would, you know, kill me for me, you know. And that way I didn't have to kill myself, someone else would just do it for me. Because there was crime on campus from time to time, I would sit there and think, maybe I should just jump off the 8th floor and, you know, end it that way. It was a very dark time in my life. Not only because of people being hateful, but because I was bullying myself. Because I felt as though I deserved it. When other people weren't bullying me, I believed that I needed to bully myself, because that's what my purpose was. But the thing is, I got through it. And I don't know how I got through it. It's a combination of counseling and a few other good friends that I had who were actually there for me. That's how I got through it. And in my next video, I plan on talking more about that. So, yes, college was difficult, and bullying took on a different form, but it still happened.